Welcome to another episode of Hot and Healthy with me, Nicole Van Hattem. And on the show today, I have something a little bit unusual. Someone a little bit unusual.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, oh, good. This is Mell Balment. And Mell is a dating consultant, a coach, which she doesn't like the term of, and I'm going to explore that a little bit more. She's the founder and the CEO of Kismet, which we're going to talk a bit more about as well. And what else makes you special, apart from being the author of this incredible guide so men can understand women? It's called What Women Really Want, a Man's Ultimate Guide to the Secrets of Understanding Women. It's not very big.
I get that comment a few times. It should be thicker.
I am talking about the book, of course.
I think you've just set the tone for the day. Awesome.
I can't help myself. I think it might be the fact that we are going to be talking quite a bit about dating, and that has many different interesting angles that we can be exploring.
She's off already?
I'm off already. So tell us about you, Mel.
Well, you asked if there's something else, and I'm a wing girl. I'm going to let that sink in. What's a wing girl?
What is a wing girl?
Well, what's a wingman?
The dude that goes with you to help you out and boost your confidence and give you guidance and get you beers.
Well, yeah, that's secondary to it. But that's it. I'm a wing girl. So I go with men and we practice and understand what's going wrong in the real life when a guy is approaching a woman, when a guy is conversing with a woman, and when a guy is trying to get a date or a number or take it to the next step. And I'm helping from the background. I observe, I coach, and help them work out what's going right and wrong in that exchange. And what happens is, in that moment, they can literally go, "Oh, now I know what you and they literally lose the ability to speak, because it's just kind of just whoosh, absorbed, and then go, "Now I see it. I don't quite know what you've taught me, but I see it now." And they can go away and really, some of them go straight back in and try approaching another woman and really nailing it in the moment. And others take a few more weeks and months. Stop it with the nailing. I know where you went there. I saw that.
Just where my
and it helps. We all know that learning and knowledge, and some of us are workshop junkies. Some of us are learning for life, which we should be. But if we're not taking action on it, and if we're not integrating that wisdom, then we're not really, truly absorbing and allowing that information to change our lives and make the improvements.
So as a wing girl, somebody will come to you as a dating consultant and say, "Mel, I really want to have a loving relationship, but I just have a lot of trouble meeting women. I don't get them. What am I doing wrong?" What's the process you take them through, and what does the wingman do to help them get the outcome they're looking for, which I'm assuming...
Assume away, and let's clear this up.
Okay, is to have a loving relationship at the other end.
Yeah, so let's set the framework here, if I may.
Please.
I don't work pickups. I don't work random. What I don't do is judge those. So if a guy's not ready for a relationship, but he wants connection and meaningful connections, whether that is short-term, one night stands, less so, but maybe friends with benefits and that sort of thing, because they know for whatever reason they're not ready for a relationship. That's a different discussion, and I help them understand why they're not. But no judgment, because at the end of the day, humans need connection. We need physical interaction. And those who are wise enough to put their hand up and say, "I'm missing that intimacy, but I'm not ready. I've got complications in my life, for whatever reason I'm not ready for a relationship," then it's still enabling that. And I forgot the question because it's such an in-depth. It's bringing the awareness to enable people to have connections again.
So you were talking about what you don't do. So you're not really into getting people to be good pickup artists. It's around people who are interested and ready to have some form of human connection, and preferably those people who are looking for a loving, intimate,
a long-term
connection.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And so if they come to me, there's two ways. One is through the coaching consulting avenue, where then at a certain point they feel they're ready to take some of the knowledge and wisdom we've been working on and put it into action in real life. And the other is just, as many men do, just fix me up. Let's just get the results now. Just come straight in for a wing night where I do some coaching up front. We work out what the issue is, and so the framework. We'll go back to the framework. That was what your last question was, and the aim is to raise their confidence pretty much in one night, to understand what's going wrong, to understand if it's language, if it's their body expression, whatever it is that they're doing wrong, so they can pretty much straight away get a change. And it's really interesting, the range of clients that come in. You got the ones who are really shy, really introverted, if we want to put them into a box, or just haven't grown up with females predominantly in their life as a childhood, or
they haven't learned the language of the female language.
No.
How to connect with them, how to
read them. That's the principal thing that comes up.
Okay.
Here's a little snippet. How many facial expressions do you think men use on average day to day, between men and men?
Oh, wow. I've never even considered that. I'm going to answer on behalf of you, the audience, because
They can't talk to us.
you can't. I honestly wouldn't be able to hazard a guess. I mean, I must do 1,000 in just this interview. I've never considered how many facial expressions a man would use with a man.
All right,
5.
so apparently the average is 10, 8 to 10 for men.
I'll do 8 to 10 in a minute.
Yes. Well, you and I are very visually expressive. I've been told that a lot. But women on average in a day, 52.
That's a big difference.
So men, when they're talking to one another, it's kind of black and white. You can see the range, the high, the ones and the tens expressions, and they've got a few in the middle that is the nuances. Women, we have so many. We have 3 expressions for, now I'm going to put myself in the spot, for curiosity. We can, and the guy's like, what is she saying? I don't know what that means. Does that mean she's angry? Does that mean I've upset her? They don't know how to read it. So that's how I can help them understand. I'm not teaching them all of the body language techniques, because there are many. I actually have another consultant I send out if they're really struggling in that space. But helping them understand the basics, because let's be real, ladies. We are complicated.
Fabulous.
We are sophisticatedly complicated.
Oh, yeah.
We are good. We're good at communicating. We also like to keep the peace. So if we can find a way of not offending someone for the greater cause of just keeping harmony, it's not worth upsetting. But the problem is men are left not knowing what that means.
So we need to be more direct. Have you got a program for women to understand men?
It's maybe in the pipeline. It's something my coach has said, not yet. Right. You've got enough projects under
You've
the way.
touched on the word coach, and before we started recording,
Yeah.
it was a word. She doesn't like the word coach.
Well, it's not me. Can I
Go.
Can I go? So, coach is a good term.
I'm a coach.
You're a coach. I am a coach. I'm a coach. I have 3 coaches. I've got no problem with a coach. Actually, my coach, my business coach, one of my business coach, the business coach, he tells me that teachers teach us so we can learn. Coaches teach us so we can get results.
Okay.
Pretty profound. That might not be verbatim what he says, but that's
the essence. For me, a coach is someone who takes you through a journey of discovering that you have all the answers and solutions within you, and helps you to realize that you are resourceful and complete and whole, so that you can be empowered and feel confident to take it forward to wherever you want to go with that. And then that makes you more resourceful long term.
Yeah.
You still need coaches. Coaches need coaches. It's to get yourself to the next level, to expand, to grow, to also have a little bit of a wingman. My coach is my wingman.
Yeah, when you put it like that, I like that.
How about that?
But what I found is the feedback, and this is please don't be offended to me, ladies. It's not. This is the feedback I'm receiving.
Ooh, here it comes.
Is men, some men, not all men, obviously the evolved ones understand what it's about, but some men go, ooh, a coach is a bit woo-woo in this sense.
Even though coaching, the whole concept of the modern day version of a coach in all the different forms, success coaching, life coaching, health coaching, all the different types of coaching, even business coaching, the concept stemmed back from the days of, the high performing sports person who had a coach to help them take them to the next level, get the edge on their game, get them focused, and put that strategy in place for continuous improvement and evolution. and performance. So I wonder, is it just because perhaps there's been coaches out there who are not so skilled or educated or capable, and they've used the word a little bit too generously? Perhaps.
Maybe.
You know what? Does it matter?
So the feedback is that consultant is something they resonate more with.
With a man.
With men.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, the men can call me what they want. They can call me a wing girl. They can call me the romance, whatever. I don't care. The label is irrelevant. Other than how, ultimately, look, my vision is to help men. And if they are going to respond to one word more than another, at the end of the day, isn't that the importance?
Absolutely.
Because, here's a secret, us women benefit from it. If the men are more comfortable to speak and be themselves through a romance consultant, we all win.
We all win.
And call me whatever you
I
want.
like wingman.
You're like, well, can I be a wing girl?
Yes. When you're 70, can you still be called a wing girl?
Absolutely. Oh, God, can you see me in the retirement homes? I'll be the one hooking everybody up. Love it.
It wasn't about hooking people up.
No, but at that age, lifetime relationships.
Get
so you're
it-
little,
get in
let's be
with
real.
the relationship
We're
as fast
talking
as you can.
only retirement villages. But then, having said that, I'm sure there's plenty of ladies and gentlemen in those homes for 30 years.
Absolutely.
So maybe,
Yeah,
I know, we went off on a tangent there.
we did. We do that a lot.
I love the long-term vision you have for my business, though.
Wing girl at 70. You're going to be a sexy 70. This is the hot and healthy show.
I'm going to be sassy.
The stuff we're doing. I mean, look at this. We're drinking green smoothies while we're recording. And I've got green tea and she's got some gingery...
Ginger tea.
Black tea with ginger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With honey too, though.
What does your boyfriend say about this tea?
Oh. What's the green stuff you're having? And this one's got chocolate in it. He's going to like this. He's like,
Raw
what's,
cacao, baby.
what's that green? He doesn't say shit. He's pretty good, but what's that green stuff?
He's probably thinking it, but he's learnt some
Yeah,
language
he's
tips
pretty
from
good.
you,
My
hasn't
man's
he?
pretty
Now,
good.
how did you get into this? Of all the types of coaching
Yeah.
you could have chosen, what was the trigger or the story behind why you went down this path?
It sounds cliched, but actually it's something I get asked a lot. How do you become a wing girl? I network a lot, so I'm pretty good at answering this question now. It's through an exercise I did and a couple of different tools. Live Your Legend has one, Simon Sinek, and a few of the other, leading coaches who help you find your passion, your purpose, and your why. So there's a couple of different models of how you do it, but in principle is, what's my super skill? What am I best at innately? That's this thing. It's
Chewing.
It's what your mum said you should do.
My mum said to me, bless her heart, she's passed. But a couple of years ago, I was all angst-ridden. Anyway, it's another story sometime when I interview myself. But she said to me, honey, I don't know what the problem is. It's simple. Make money with your mouth. Which apparently means I should just do speaking gigs and videos like this.
Do this.
Yeah.
So
you're good with your mouth
I'm
too,
communicating, and I'm pretty good at communicating with men on their level because that's where I've been for the last 22 years in the corporate world. I hear them, I see them. I don't always use the same language entirely as them, but I get why and how they talk in a certain way. They're just straight down the line. So that was the first one. What's your super skill? Second is, what have you been paid the most for? What do other people see your skill as? And then thirdly, what are you most passionate? What is the thing that brings so much, like almost tears of joy? So when I did that exercise, I came up with a few different things. And originally, I started a business as a engagement proposal planner.
An engagement proposal planner.
So I love working with men. I'm really organized and I've got an event planning background. And I'm a super romantic, like hopeless romantic. And so I went, oh my God, the boys who want to plan these proposals. Perfect. I've got the romance, I've got the event planner. Let's plan proposals. Because I'm like one of those sad chicks who goes on YouTube and Googles everybody else's proposal. I cry every time.
Oh, gee, well, I hope your boyfriend...
I don't want to put that pressure on him. We're not even going to go there.
Okay.
In case he watches this, I don't want to do that to him. It's not my business anymore. But that's what I wanted to do for men. And then I discovered there's a thing called marketing. Mm-hmm. And in the business world, you've got to have money to tell society about an industry that doesn't exist yet.
Yes, you have to create the demand.
People don't even know to look for a proposal planner.
Right. Wow.
Wedding planners 10 years ago had the same thing. It was only for the elite. So I kind of had to shelve that because I couldn't find any. I found one, man. I found one. And we did. It was a 10-year re-proposal. It was gorgeous.
Oh, how beautiful. So you don't offer that service anymore?
No, I've had to. It's shelved. It's not gone. It's just shelved. Parked
because
for future.
I'm pretty sure when this video goes out there, there's a lot of people out there going to go, oh yeah, there's so much pressure to make that moment so special. I could use a little bit of help. You could end up doing wing girl services for the, well, you're going to get them into the relationship, coach them through to the point.
She's catching up with my business model here. Yeah, and that's it. It's romance consulting.
So it was too difficult to continue with that because the demand, well, the awareness wasn't there, and it was taking too much time to build awareness of that particular need.
Yeah.
And then that you had the service that provided the solution. So then where did the wing girl thing come about?
Well, as you say, let's create a pipeline for prospective clients. And then, which sounds really manipulative, but what happened was I started doing some meditation specifically on, okay, what should I do? I want to work for myself. I want to create an impact and leave, not a legend, I'm not that egotistical, but I want to, legacy. But I want to make an impact. I think I probably watched a movie around when there was a death, and it's like, what do I want people to say at my funeral? What do I want to be remembered for? And I say that because I don't have children, and that's a very clear decision I made that ended in divorce, actually. But anyway, that's all good.
So you were married before, and you
I was married. Yeah, bless him.
Okay.
Anyway, that might take us down another rabbit hole, and that's okay for maybe later. I'm already losing my thoughts, and it's gone.
Is it?
Yeah. Too many thoughts going on in my head. I'm a girl right now.
Oh, it's okay to be a girl right now. And I was thinking about the divorce, and I've gotten sidetracked down there.
Yeah, that's where my head went. That's okay.
Cut this bit.
So what were we talking about?
You were talking about, I'd asked you the question around
why dating coach, right?
You said it. You thought it was manipulative.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
but it's not. And you're creating a pipeline. You're solving a problem, but realizing that that's 2 steps too forward for the marketplace.
Yeah, and that's what I'm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds a little bit manipulative, but what I wanted to do was create pipelines and help single guys, and then obviously I'll get proposals down the track if I do a good job. But what happened was I started doing meditation and seeking guidance of internally, what should I be doing? This is my purpose. I want to work for myself. But this proposal thing isn't obviously the first step. And so this guidance came through of I should be using my wisdom and sharing my wisdom. That was the statement that came through. Share your wisdom. And I'm like, I'm not wise. What have I got to share? All right, well, apparently I'm good at communication. I worked that out for myself. And about 2 days later, there was something before, a guy friend called up looking for some guidance about what happened afterwards. He just asked, right, okay, let me paint the picture. He doesn't want a relationship, but he wants to meet women. And so he's going to this yoga class because he was interested in yoga, but he really liked the instructor. Ooh. And he's like, I don't know if she's got a boyfriend. She might have a girlfriend too. No. He didn't know whether she's single, what to do. Anyway, so he kept going and trying to listen in at the end of class to our conversations to see if he could work out what her status was, which is kind of romantic. Bit stalky for some who don't. What's the difference between stalking and romance?
Well, isn't stalking when 2 people go on a walk and only one person knows about it? It's a little creepy.
I like that. Another additional description is if you are attracted to the man who's expressing these stalk-like behaviors, it's romantic. If you're not attracted to him, it's stalky.
Oh.
That's what society has labelled it as.
Okay.
It's still romantic. You're just not interested in the guy. So therefore it's like, oh, it's creepy.
So this guy was leaning into the yoga instructor's conversations to
Yes.
find out whether she's got a girlfriend
Yeah.
or a boyfriend
Yeah.
or no friend.
Yeah, or no, no friend. Anyway, so he plucked up the courage. He said it took him 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that gorgeous?
That's cute.
But doesn't that show you this is why I help men? It's like, do it at least on the second or third. Don't wait 6 weeks. Anyway, so he called me after the 5th one and said, oh, I've done it again. I've left without finding out. Just talking. He hadn't even uttered 2 words to her.
Yes.
So I gave him my perspective based on what he shared with me and what he could do and a way of approaching her. So in the 6th week, he did it. Yay. And when he gave me the feedback, he says, what was holding me back is I was portraying and thinking I had to talk about relationships when I knew I didn't want a relationship. And so he was letting what preconceived expectation of society is I must want a relationship. I'm 30 something and this is the path I should be following. And so because he wasn't ready for that, he wasn't going to do anything for fear of misleading her.
So he's missing out on any kind of meaningful connection.
Correct.
Because he's holding himself back with that fear.
Yeah, because he's a pretty evolved man, so he didn't want to do it wrong and lead her up the garden path. Whereas most men might just do that without realizing. So I helped him understand. I was like, well, if you don't want a relationship, that's okay. Give her the choice and the option of what you are offering, and she can say yes or no.
Lovely.
He loved that, and he got a date with her.
Nice.
On the sixth class, he went back. He left, got in his car, started the car and went, no, I've got to tell Mel how this went. And he went back.
So you also give accountability and a little bit of fear.
Yeah.
Don't you come back to me and tell me you didn't at least
Like,
give it a
seriously?
go.
Seriously? So what happened as a result of that beautiful exchange is, oh my God, I do have wisdom.
Right.
I have answers for these guys.
Yeah.
Because I'm a girl. I have wisdom.
Of course. You've got a girl's perspective, which they may not be able to
They don't
get
have.
any
Full
other
stop.
way.
They
Well,
don't
yeah.
have. So that kind of got me over that and kind of, shut up, Mel. You've got something to share. And pretty much as soon as I embraced, oh my goodness, this is something I can make a business from. And there are men out there seeking answers. And so that was in August of last year, August 2015. And around that time I went to Sydney to help a girlfriend recover from surgery down in, I said Sydney, didn't I? Still down in Sydney, for 2 months. And in that time I wrote a workshop, an 8-step workshop to be recorded. And I recorded it. I haven't finished editing it yet, but I've recorded it.
just get it
So
out there.
pretty much when I got back in October, I will. Pretty much in October, I've been running Dating with Kismet full time.
What is Kismet?
Kismet, it should be with an S, but I've changed it to a Z because numerologically it's better for me. So I changed it to a Z, and Kismet means fate or destiny. Dating with destiny.
Dating with destiny.
Because every man, I believe, has more than one option. I don't believe there's only one soulmate for us. Some philosophies, here's an out there thing that's, I'm still kind of like, don't know where I sit with it. Another thought leader in the world. Consider that we are all reincarnates of ourselves. You are actually me and I'm actually you.
Okay.
It's kind of matrixy. And like I said, let's get my head around it. But if you consider that we're all here to learn, and there are many, 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 many different things we need to learn to evolve and to become our better, higher self, then we should have compassion for each other, and especially those guys, because they're learning. So yeah, that's a bit of a thought closer. Isn't it?
I'm really,
It's a big one.
That's gonna have to marinate. In me for a while.
I'll send you the article. I think it was a.
Thank you.
I think it was a web article.
We're really digressing.
We are.
I've had a flick through your book, and I'm going to read it in a bit more detail.
All right then.
But you've got some great stuff in here, and one of them is sex porn exposed. Come on, we're gonna
Trust you to pick on that one. Seriously.
Well, come on. This is in here for a reason.
It is.
What's it in there for? Like, what's the point you're making with about
All right.
porn.
So the chapter on sex, it's actually
This is the hot and healthy
It is
show,
the hot and healthy.
so
Are you ready to get a bit
do
hot?
it.
This is actually going to get you hot in a way that you're not expecting this conversation to go.
Okay, I'm already getting there.
No, not that kind of hot. This is going to get you hot into the collar because it's going to frustrate you. Because what's happening out there is... Okay, let me really pre-frame it very simply. If you think about the term hardcore porn 10 years ago...
Okay, I'm thinking.
Maybe not the graphics thinking, but that term and what that represented is now mainstream free porn.
Mm.
So what has happened is the industry has become so prevalent, so commercialized, that what used to be, and I'm not making any judgment about what hardcore is to everybody. Some are what vanilla and some are kink and some are extreme, whatever. It's not about that. The freedom that the internet has created is positive and negative. And one of the negative impacts is it's educating our younger generation on what sex and what possibly women might enjoy is quite different from reality.
Okay.
So hardcore porn is now actually softcore. And so it's going more extreme.
Wow. So the new version or the
Correct.
now version
Yes.
of hardcore
is another level. And again, I'm not going to judge. So this was the hardest. Thank you for picking the hardest chapter to write because it's not my expertise. But doing the research for the book, the industry is quite shocking. And for evolved women like us, it makes me, because it's creating these feelings I had, and it makes me quite angry. And I watch porn. Let's just put that up front. I'm somebody who likes certain types of porn. But the industry had become quite corrupt. It's become quite... Do you know what one of the highest searched porn categories is?
Do I want to know?
Probably not.
Do you want to whisper it to me? Oh, no. Tell the audience.
Child.
Ugh.
So we go, ugh, but that's what turns them on. Wow. Because it's innocent and it's that caveman controlling. And I get this is what the book's about, the psychological differences and where we're coming from. I'm not making it right. Let me make this absolutely clear. One day I might tell you my story and why I'm so anti that stuff. Read between the lines, it'll make sense. And so what has happened, let's bring it back to now, is the industry has created accessibility for young men, all men, but particularly our younger generation. So they're acting out what they think is what makes them a sex stud. And we know, especially us evolved women who can speak about what is and isn't comfortable in the bedroom, know that quite a lot of those acts, they're not for us, let alone young teenage girls.
And that would then be translating itself into the way these men, not just these men and boys, would then be thinking about, well, then how do I start the conversation and the process of building a relationship with a woman who I'd like to end up being intimate with, because they're thinking about they don't need to go through that process because porn does not do dating. Porn does not do romance.
Porn doesn't do conversations.
Porn does end result, end game now.
Yeah.
So that's changing the way they're thinking. So they're not learning any of the skills needed to have that relationship conversation with the opposite sex.
And do you know what's missing? Is that hardcore kink extreme porn might be what a woman enjoys. But if he doesn't know how to ask and be authentic around his desires and just takes or enacts or engages without permission or any of those things, it's, I don't even need to finish that sentence.
So your book is going to give them the skills to be able to understand the language that woman, to communicate with a woman in such a way that they can work out, are they a good fit? Is there an opportunity here to go from that conversation into a deeper relationship, a deeper connection?
Yeah.
And if they're in the relationship, how to have a great relationship, a deep connection.
Yeah,
And
whatever that is for them.
be able to ask for what they need, be able to make sure they're hearing what the other person does and doesn't want and does need and doesn't need. Great. Because I noticed in here as well, I'll skip past.
Yeah, let's move on from porn.
Moving on from porn. We kind of got a little bit
got a bit heavy
there. So one of the, I quite like this picture. Finding self-love in the modern world.
Ah.
Yeah. And I like the fact that it's a conversation around men having a healthy relationship with themselves. We spend a lot of time outside of ourselves, in interacting in a world that's very distracting and it's very busy and it's noisy and it's manipulative. However, we don't take enough time to take care of that inner self. And I know that women are having more of that conversation, and we're even coaching them more on practical rituals, daily success strategies around having a greater self-care practice. I don't think the men are having that conversation.
They're not.
No.
Not in that sense, not in that capacity. One of the topics I talk about when I speak publicly is emasculation. And I actually had to research. I didn't realize I was teaching this and I didn't have a label for it. And then when another male coach who I interviewed for the book, actually, he said, you're talking about emasculation. I'm like, I've come across that. What does it actually mean? And how I perceive it. Okay, here's an example. I used to be an alpha bitch in the workplace. That's chapter 2 in the book. Alpha bitch. And what does that mean? That means I knew what I wanted, how to get it, was going after it. I didn't need a man. In fact, I remember one guy I was really keen on and we were dating. And he said, I love you, but you don't need me. And that hurt. And I'm like, I freaking need you big time. But how I was living my life left no space for him to fill.
Right.
I was that alpha for both of us. And through coaching, life coaching myself, through healing a lot of my childhood past stuff, and of course that then evolves into me being a more awesome human being. I worked out that I was being this alpha and I wasn't being in my feminine.
Right.
And so going through all of that, learned that we need to be different with men. We need to allow space for them to step up. I was constantly, well, if you can't approach me, if you can't do this, if you can't do that, he's not man enough. There's truth to that, but I didn't really energetically let him either. I didn't give him the opportunity. I was always one step ahead of him.
I really like that.
No man can
I really
live
like that. Modern women, particularly in the West, we have the ability to do anything and everything we want. We can get degrees, we can start companies, we can be CEOs of companies, we can do the most amazing stuff. We can build our own homes if we want to. We can get sex if we want to pay for it. We can do everything.
Sex if we don't want to pay for it?
We can have children by ourselves. Everything we want is possible and
quite
achievable.
rightly. Let's put that on the table.
But then where does the man fit into
Yeah.
into that?
And it takes that awareness, self-awareness. There's still not enough equality in the world. We should still be empowering women. We should still be bringing about changes. But along the way, let's not forget that we're women in our heart and soul. I want to desire and need to be vulnerable with my partner. I need to let him know that I'm not Superwoman. By being Superwoman, he can't be my Superman. And well, we've seen movies where that happens. The world gets kind of messed up.
Thanks, Hollywood.
I'm a bit of a Hollywood Marvel Comics girl. By learning that I was masculine or alpha or however different labels, there's a couple of different thoughts out there, but not allowing myself to be right now vulnerable. This is vulnerable. Talking and sharing my views. They might get backlash about my talk about views about sex and all this stuff, but I have to be vulnerable. I have to be me. And by being me, he just fills my heart. Because I allow space for him to.
You allow space for him. And that's the thing. We can have everything. We can do everything.
And he wants me to be amazingly successful in my own right. He wants to support that, and he will continue to support that.
But he
has his identity too. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's really 3 people in the
There's
relationship.
always say 3
You,
identities.
him, and the us.
Yeah.
Or the we.
Yeah.
love
So
it.
can I pull back to the first question?
Oh
you
my
asked?
gosh, absolutely.
Yeah, that was the
It's your
framework
show.
question. No, it's our show.
Well,
It's your show, actually.
it's my show.
It's your
Welcome to my show.
Hashtag
All
about me. The framework I developed, and I've just created a female one actually, which isn't published yet in any way. It's been tested. The number 1, which will be the same in both male and female, is your why. If you don't know why you're single, in my sense it was because I'm basically pushing them away. If you don't understand why you want to be in a relationship, you're not going to find the right thing. If you're putting out something that unfortunately might be codependency or needy or dare I say desperate, because you want connection, and I respect and understand that, but men feel that as constriction and restriction. Men's values at an innate level is freedom, so we give off anything that is the opposite of giving them their freedom. We're going to detract from them.
Okay.
Even though they're seeking intimacy, they're seeking connection and relationships, it's this primal stuff we're talking about. And understanding that for ourselves is the key for both men and women. Why do you want to be in a relationship? And then the framework moves into...
And perhaps also why you don't want to be in a relationship.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you.
Very
yes.
clear about, well, what is it that you want? I think some people, like you were saying back in the early part of this interview, was around this belief that I'm a certain age, therefore I must have a partner. It was one of your clients who was saying, I'm this age and I need to have an intimate relationship. But perhaps they've never taken the time to consider what they really want. Have you, listener to this?
Yeah.
Have you?
One of the hardest questions when I do workshops on this is always the one I need to allow more time for, because so many people are in the status quo of find mate, settle down, get married, have babies, have the house, live the life, blah blah blah,
And you'll be happy.
Equals happiness. And so many people are unhappy, and the divorce rate is through the roof because people don't know why they got into that relationship in the first place.
So that's always your starting point.
Why
do you want to be in a relationship? And why do you want to be good at learning the language of the opposite sex? Why do you want to
what
date?
does a relationship mean to you?
What
does your dream life, what does your dream partner? So you've got your dream, your aspirations, but how do they fit in? And quite a lot of time, exactly, you stole my thunder there, that's all right. Maybe your life doesn't have space. So I had a millionaire client once, and he says, I can't meet women because I'm traveling and I'm like literally never in the city more than maybe 3 weeks at a time. I'm like, well, that makes it hard. He says, so he was meeting a certain race of women that was working well, who were less ambitious as the Western women. But even then, he said they want to settle down. She loves the lifestyle. She loves traveling, having that freedom. But at the end of the day, she wanted a nest. She wanted a place to call home, that when she was tired of the traveling, she could come back to. And he says, actually, I don't want that. I don't even want to. He had 4 properties, but he let them all out. I don't want to. I don't need a home. I don't need a base. This is a man in his 40s. So I say that with tone because you should want that by the time you're 40, right?
Society says you should.
Correct. Well, you can afford it. Why don't you? Because it just didn't suit him. He didn't need that. And so once he understood and said, this is why she's a female. We need that nest. I'm calling it a nest, but you know what I mean? Your sanctuary, your place. There's no place like home. Everybody likes to come home after traveling to their own bed and their own pillow. I take my pillow when I travel. But it's an innate thing. Women are the ones who create a stability for the home.
In general.
In principally, generally speaking.
Are we wired that way?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That primal stuff. Now, that's not to say everybody at the same time. But at some point in our life, we will want to. And whether that involves some children is irrelevant. We're talking about just settling down.
I love this. There's so much in this book. And one of my favorite topics that I use in all my coaching programs as well is one of the very first things that I use. And I'm just looking for the page now. But it's around love languages.
Ah, yes.
There's 5 love languages. And when you understand those 5 love languages, just that simple skill to be able to go, hang on a minute, what's their love language? What's my love language? Is it impossible or difficult for me to see, understand, hear, feel the other person's talking to me in love because I don't speak the same language? So the 5 love languages are acts of service, words and affirmation, quality time, gifts, and physical touch.
Well done.
Now, do you know what yours is?
I'm kind of breaching 3.
Ooh.
I'm easy to please.
Give me one.
So my top by 1 point is acts of service.
Right. What's your lowest?
Gifts.
So if I said, oh, so good to have you on the show, Mel. Here's a gift. Mm-hmm. She'd be like, thanks.
That's nice.
She wouldn't be hearing the love. But if I did, what would you like instead?
Ooh, an acts of service in this sense. I don't know how that would translate in this.
Maybe if I help you get your book out there, is that an act of service?
Yeah, I guess it is. It's a marketing. Yeah.
Would you appreciate that more than me giving you a bunch of flowers or
helping, assisting, making life easier is acts of service.
Okay. And so for me, it is words.
Your words of affirmation.
Yeah. Don't give me gifts.
Yep.
Diamonds is an exception.
Yeah. There's always
is an exception.
Actually, can I just? You're a bit too narrow for me. Any precious stone.
Any precious diamonds, white ones. Yeah.
No. Pink or yellow are good too.
We're digressing again.
Yeah, we are.
Let's keep going for hours. But it's a very simple way and a very quick way to understand a very powerful tool to understand why you may be screaming love to the other person. The other person is not receiving that because they just don't understand that's what it is. So an example that I use quite regularly is that mine is definitely words. My husband doesn't have a lot of language around, honey, you look hot, or you look smoking in that outfit, or yeah, you're booty, whatever. He doesn't have that, and he doesn't say a lot of words of encouragement and support and affirmation, that I rock. So I have to give that to myself because I'm not going to get it from him. But he will wash my car. Right? That's
acts of service.
He's an acts of service guy.
That's his.
He'll make me dinner. He'll bring me a glass of wine. He won't say anything. He'll just do it. He won't check with me first before washing my car.
That's his romance.
It is. So what I had to learn was I'd walk outside. I'm in high heels and a long dress, and there's water all over the driveway. My car's clean, and my husband's finishing off the last bit of getting the water off the car. And I'm like, now I have to walk through all that mess, get in my car. And before I learnt the love languages, I was like, oh, gee, I'm a bit annoyed. Now my shoes are wet and I got the dress. And I could see it was like, honest,
poor bugger.
Poor guy.
You just spent 2 hours washing your car.
Exactly.
Do you wash your car?
No. Look at my nails. Do I wash my No, but what I had to learn was, that is his love language. So when I see him washing my car, in my mind's eye, I put a giant bubble above the car saying, I love you.
Nice.
Yeah, because I need the words. So I will see the words.
Nice.
I will hear the words and I'll bring them in. And then I feel really loved.
Beautiful.
And I have a clean car.
Yeah, win-win.
And my nails still look good.
Win-win-win.
So it's a very simple tool, but it's very powerful. And that's one of the things that you cover in your book. I'm
going to go another level. Yeah, I haven't shared this with you. This love language is actually one of the reasons I got divorced. The first one was I didn't want children. I had this big epiphany. Okay. But the love language, I didn't understand it for myself. Not only did I not understand the love languages, but I didn't understand what fulfilled me at an innate level. So it's partly love language, but it's more. And romance. All these different acts. And that's kind of what makes it difficult, because I'm only 1 point between 3 out of the 5. I'm really easy to please. So if I'm not getting any of them...
Except gifts.
Really, really hard to please. No, really unhappy. That's what I was going to say. You knocked me off there.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Distracted.
And so, because I didn't know myself what filled my love tank up, I couldn't tell him.
So you're putting the wrong fuel in the tank.
I wasn't putting any.
He wasn't, you weren't.
I wasn't, because I didn't know what I needed. I was 25 when I got married and 30 when I got divorced. And then, this is what happened afterwards. I found out that he started buying his new girlfriend flowers. I'd been with this man for 7 years. He'd bought me flowers once. Now, I'm not talking about flowers and that's a gift, but he never once expressed an act of love except on our wedding day. He was pretty good on the wedding day. He bought me my first horse riding lesson, actually. As a wedding gift. That was nice.
That's interesting.
No,
Wedding gift?
Because I wanted to learn how to horse ride, so he gave
Oh,
it
well,
to
there
me.
you go.
But because I couldn't tell him, he couldn't mind read. It wasn't his fault. He wasn't being what I wanted him to be.
So I can see that this book would be very good, obviously, for the men to understand women. How good would this book be for women to understand themselves better so they can ask for what they need from their man? Or maybe just leave it on the coffee table and he'll read it.
Maybe. Depends on whether that's too obviously subtle.
Well, don't put it on the table with a, hey, honey, read this. But rather just drop it on the table.
Yeah, put it on your desk in amongst your other books. Don't leave it front and centre because that's a bit...
Beside the bed.
Yeah, on his pillow. Because if you tell a man he should do something, you're emasculating him.
And that's also around this, you're trapping him by saying he should do something and he wants to run away from that thing.
Why is that? Because we're telling him there's something wrong and we want to change him.
Right.
Don't try and change a man. Let him think he's making the change. So have this in amongst your files. Have this sit next to the computer.
What if you really want to improve your relationship and you believe this is going to be a good tool to do that? How do you encourage him?
Does he need to read it? Or can you read it, absorb it, and help him? We all know we train men. We do. We teach them what works for us. But if you're doing that in a positive sense, oh my God, thank you for doing the dishes today. I know I was going to do it this morning. I didn't have time. Thank you so much.
Right. That's if his love language is...
No, that's just full stop. Telling him what makes you happy. That's not even about love language. Okay. That's decent, open communication.
So I guess it's just being kind, loving, aware.
Grateful.
And start with yourself and grateful. Absolutely.
I'm grateful you did that. Because then you're reinforcing what you do like. Don't worry about the dishes. I've got a certain way of doing it. Oh, I can't believe you did it and you did them wrong. That's just, well, stuff you. I'm not going to do it again.
So start with self-awareness. So this book, ladies, get your hands on this. Connect with Mell.
Mell? That's me.
It's you. How can they get more access to you and what you have to offer?
Well, you can Google me. That's a fun exercise. No.
If you haven't Googled yourself, I recommend you do that. Be surprised what comes up.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not too... Dating with Kismet, KIZMET.com.au. The website's about to get an overhaul, actually. Because I'm going to I am going to be in mainstream media. TV is where I'm aiming for, mainstream TV. So I've got to have my website ready. So that's where it principally is, on Facebook, LinkedIn. I haven't done the Instagram so much. And YouTube channel is about to be overhauled as well.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Yay. And I'll put a link in the show notes so everyone can find out how to get easy access to Mell and everything she has to offer. And what would you like to leave the listeners with in terms of holistic health and sustainable success? We know that relationships are absolutely essential if you want holistic health. And to be sustainably successful in whatever you're doing, understanding other people is important, and this really helps. But is there something specific that you'd like to leave and share with the listener?
Thanks for putting me on the spot there. It sounds a bit cliched, but I want to pick up on the word you use, relationships, because relationships start with ourselves. And I guess it comes back to what I was saying when I realized I was being that alpha bitch. That relationship with myself changed, and boy, did the dynamics with men change. It was a lot of fun after that. And then when I really embraced myself, love showed up. So I guess to be truly happy and healthy is have a loving relationship and love and accept that you're awesome the way you are. There's some things you might want to change, but that's for you to decide, not someone else. And don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. Because by making those small changes, I had a little moment this morning driving here. I got lost and got all angry. And what happened was I was afraid. I was afraid of people not perhaps liking what I had to say. And so I'd made myself 20 minutes late deliberately. And so when I acknowledged and I'm like, why am I so angry? Why is Siri, who I actually have personally met, why is Siri making me late? And stop being an arse and step outside your comfort zone. The message is out there. Somebody wants to hear it.
Absolutely.
Everyone out there, you've all got a story, and someone needs to hear it. More importantly, it's not about you. It's not about me. is about you.
It might be a little bit about me.
It's sometimes quite a lot about
Well,
you.
my life's about me.
Hashtag.
All about me. It's all about you too, and that's why we created this show. And I will agree with you, Mel. Everyone has a story for a reason, and Hot and Healthy is about amplifying your story and the story of other people who can help you to think differently, maybe eat differently, so that you can thrive instead of just survive, because there's no need to. All the knowledge, the tools, the people are out there. So tune into those and create your life on purpose. Let go of stuff that doesn't serve you. Embrace the fact that you are awesome and that people need you and you need people, and developing your skills around communicating and interacting with other people and creating nourishing and deep relationships is absolutely worth your time. It's going to make you more sustainably successful as well. I'm not going to give you a gift for being on the show.
You can though.
Thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome. It was fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed
We had
it.
no structure. We didn't know. I turned up
just
here
chat.
with nothing. I didn't know what we were going to talk about.
Really? I
awesome.
was going to talk about you.
So thanks for listening.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Share the show with as many people as you can. Go to iTunes and subscribe to Hot and Healthy with Nicole Van Hattem. We have a new episode coming out every Tuesday. There are over, at the time of recording this, over 60 episodes already out there to help you to tune into what's going to make you feel better and think better and live better. So go and get what you need. It's all there and it's all free. And go to my website, NicoleVanHattem.com. You'll find out where to get all the information about how to connect with Mel. And there's heaps of free resources there. And you can leave a message and I'll get back to you. So, remember to be hot and healthy.